What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of alaunesports. First episode of 2023, episode 46. We're back. And Mr. Wetz is here. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Rich? It's been a while, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Like after what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing good. Can't complain. 2023.
January.
Yeah, being like very long for no reason. Um, so we're back for a new episode of alaunesports. It's episode 46.
Yes, sir.
I hope everyone is having a good year. We weren't here to wish you guys a happy new year, so we're doing it right now. Happy New Year, everyone, and all listeners to alaunesports. Yeah, we're back for a new episode. It's gonna be consistently on NBA and also some soccer and some previews of the weekend. Just before we start, just want to give a couple games that happened this weekend results. There was the Premier League, Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. It was 1-1. We had Manchester City today. We're recording on the 19th. They beat Tottenham Hotspur 4-2. And at the beginning of the week, we had the Supercoppa Italia. It was yesterday, actually, where Inter Milan beat AC Milan 3-0. Dzeko, Federico Di Marco, and Lautaro Martinez were on the scoring sheet. And we had Copa del Rey today. It's round of 16.
Yes, sir.
We had Sociedad that beat Mallorca 1-0. They're on to the next round. Alaves lost against Sevilla 1-0. Valencia beat Sporting Gijon 4-0. Atletico Bilbao, they beat Espanyol 1-0. Levante, they lost against Atletico Madrid 2-0. Real Betis and Osasuna, it ended 2-2. They had to go to penalty. Osasuna won on penalty. 4 penalties converted against 2 for Real Betis. It's very unfortunate. Betis was playing very well in the previous cup, and Barcelona beat them, and then you see them losing that way again in penalties. Barcelona, they crushed Ceuta 5-0, and Real Madrid came back from 2-0 in Villareal. You know how difficult it is, but they won 3-2. Those were the results that we have. And we also have NFL this weekend, where it's going to be the divisional round, where Jaguars is going to play against the Chiefs on Saturday at 4:30. The New York Giants are going to play at the Eagles 8:15 Eastern time, Saturday, January 21st. And on Sunday, the January 2nd, we have the Bengals that's going to play the Bills at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And 6:30, a very good game, Cowboys versus 49ers. Those are the divisional round of the NFL playoffs 2023. Yep. And Mike, if you have nothing to add on those results or anything you wanted to say, I'll start.
Yeah, no, nothing really. Just crushing blow to United right before our very important matchup that we'll discuss on the podcast at Arsenal. Masterful free kick by Olise to tie the game up, man. When we had the 3 points, we're so close to the we're so close to the 3 points, man. Could have put a little bit more pressure on Man City to probably finish top 2, hopefully, which would have been such a incredible morale boost for the whole club in general. And, there's rumors about, the club being up for sale now. So, we'll see what happens. But it was tough, man. It sucked.
Tough, but it's better than that. I mean, it's better than losing. So.
Yep, for sure.
All right, we want to start with NBA or soccer?
Up to you, buddy. Up to you, man.
All right, let's get it to since I was giving the results for soccer. Let's just stay on that topic. So right now the first topic of soccer is Arsenal, actually. Not Arsenal. I meant to say there are gonna be an Arsenal and Man U game, but we're gonna speak about that in the last segment of what's up with that. But I wanted to ask you a question for a soccer topic for the Premier League before the Liverpool and Chelsea game this weekend. If Liverpool gets Jude Bellingham and Mateus Nunes. Do
Mhm.
you think that addresses the midfield problem that they've been having?
I think so. I think so. Unfortunately for them, it's not something that's going to happen in this window. There's no way Dortmund or even Wolves will let Mateus Nunes leave, especially after he just came to the club and
Yeah.
during the summer window for them. He's only been in the club with them for 6 months, but yeah, 100%, absolutely. I think there's a there's a glaring issue in midfield with their aging midfield. Obviously, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago Alcantara. They're all old, older, I would say. Like I'm right about the same age as them.
In soccer terms.
Yeah, but yeah, they're older, and it's a very difficult thing to play at a high level, at a highly competitive level, especially like what Liverpool wants to do and what they've been doing that's given them success for the last 3-4 years under Jurgen Klopp is pressing, recovering the ball, making sure like keeping the tempo up at all times. Like it's something that's very demanding, and then if you're getting injuries, and your rotations are like Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's going to be leaving on a free. It seems like I'm not sure if he's leaving on
Yeah.
a free, but
He's gonna be free, but
yeah. But Oxlade-Chamberlain, like good. He's a decent piece, but he's not. He's not an elite. He's not an elite level.
He's not
player,
ideal right at the moment. If you want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and then you have guys like Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott. They're on the younger side, so good talented players. But are they really moving the needle for you as much? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think they're ready to start at the highest level yet to push a team like Liverpool to like the top two, or even I'm saying top two, but what they need is to be contending. So I don't think those guys really puts them there yet. So I think it helps them. Yes, they've had injuries with to key players like Jota and Diaz, for example. So that bothers them a little bit. There's inconsistencies in Van Dijk's performance and Konate's performance and Matip's performance in defense, but overall, what every person could see with Liverpool is that their midfield is aging and has major issues, which leaves their defense exposed. Especially guys like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who sometimes, if he's left on the flank by himself and nobody's coming to double up and cover for him, he's going to get exposed every single day of the week. So I think Mateus Nunes, the way that he's been playing lately as well, Jude Bellingham has an engine to run for days. 100% that, I think.
They also said it's more for Chelsea, but there was a slight rumor also for Moises Caicedo, and I think it's a profile of a player that they can take a look at as if they miss out on one of those players. It's his work rate, most likely, like you're saying, covering for players that if they're always like going up. But
yeah. No, I mean, I would like to look up their possession-based stats in some of the last few games for them. But again, we discussed it in the past for Liverpool. I think, again, like Liverpool, Man City, those two teams, they play very high lines. It's very important for these guys to play with possession and to play very disciplined. And if teams are recovering possession from them and they're unable to actually keep up with some of the higher paced younger players in the EPL, that's always going to give them trouble. And I think a guy like Jude Bellingham 100% fixes that. A guy like Mateus Nunes 100% addresses those issues.
if you're Liverpool, do you go straight and pay the price? And I know it's going to be over 100 millions. And do you not make the error? Well, Tchouaméni wanted to come to Real Madrid, but you feel like it's almost the same situation. Like Real Madrid is going to go after Jude Bellingham as well. But if you're Liverpool, do you go straight for the price? Like, it's gonna be difficult. You don't want to have those war against other clubs.
Mm-hmm.
You go straight and pay that 150 million or how much the market value is right now.
I think for Jude Bellingham, I think so, yes. Because unlike a guy like, look, no disrespect to Declan Rice, but he's not worth $100 million. Like in no way, no how, like on any planet in any universe is he worth 100
Man, you
million. I
wanted to
don't.
make a statement.
Yeah, like I just don't think so. Like he's just not that talented, like on the ball. Like then that's the difference with Jude Bellingham. Like Jude Bellingham is like a box to box midfielder that could play as a number 8. You could play him as a 6, and you could play him as a 10. He showed you that he has that type of ability. Like you can play him in any part of the midfield that you want to, and you could assign him different roles. If you need him to be a guy that shadows somebody, for example, like Fred did for Kevin De Bruyne in the Manchester Derby. It's like Jude Bellingham can do that for you. If you need him to, like, hey, listen, I need you to go support my attack. Like, you need to be playing behind what's his name? You need to play right behind what's the main striker again? For
Nunez?
Nunez. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say Suarez again. That's why I asked you. Yeah, I need you to play in behind Nunez a little bit. And to link up play with him and Salah and Diaz. Like he can do that. I don't think Declan Rice can do those things. So like if the talent is there, and again, he's only 19 years old, and you've seen him perform at the World Cup. And again, not to say Declan Rice didn't perform at the World Cup, but it's just completely two different two different players entirely. So if you have the money and you want to spend it, and this is the future, go ahead, pay that money for Jude Bellingham. I think he's absolutely worth it. I don't think there are many players that are worth over 100 million. I think you can fork it out for Jude Bellingham. Like he hasn't shown me, like there's a difference. Like, yeah, he's only been playing in Germany, for example, but he's shown you that he can do it in the Champions League, and he's gone to the World Cup and performed at a very high level. So 100% you can spend that money on him and be okay with that.
Fair enough. Those are the two names that has been shown in the articles and in rumors for Liverpool. Mm-hmm. And I know they're most likely going to be a target for Liverpool, but Jude Bellingham might want to come to Real Madrid, but I feel like it's also depends on who, because I know they said a report that Real Madrid is not going to make a huge bid for him, but it's interesting to see who's going to end up having that player, or if he goes to a different team, you never know. And so the next topic is for Arsenal. I wanted to ask you a quick question. We've been seeing Arsenal for the past 4 or 5 years. You do see there was some hope in certain players, and when Arteta came in, it was kind of rough, but they asked for trust in the process. What are Arsenal doing better now? Like there's certain games that they would play well, but they still ended up losing. Mm-hmm. What do you see in the players now? Is it a different mentality that they strongly built now, and then they're able to take those results against top or mid-table teams? Or is it just the process being fully in effect right now?
Yeah, I think it's the development of, the vision. I mean, how many players did Mikel bring in this window? He brought in Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, and he brought in Fabio Vieira from Portugal. He's not even really getting that many minutes anyways, but he's somebody that could back up a guy like Odegaard when he needs to get a breather, or he needs to miss out on games and stuff like that, so for recovery. But I think it's just a trust the process and a vision thing. Like, and you have a plan in mind. You have a certain profile of players that you want to attract, and you have a set way that you want your players to play and their position, and who you want in those positions. And I feel like Mikel Arteta has done that. He got Martin Odegaard. He wants to play a 4-2, 4-2-3-1, which sometimes goes like, it
4-3-3.
basically, yeah, exactly. It basically mirrors a 4-3-3. And you have Odegaard in the middle of the park as the team captain and general.
Hmm.
And you went and got another guy that's like, kind of a similar profile in him, and like Vieira. And you have Thomas Partey, who's playing really well. And you have another guy like, Sambi Lokonga. Like, not to say that they're similar, but they could kind of do the same thing, that like, they're interchangeable parts in some ways. Like, you could take out, if Thomas Partey is missing out on a game, you could put Lokonga on the field, and he could probably give you maybe 40% of
Yeah.
what a guy like Partey could give you. So I feel like it's just like, you just need a vision, and you need the people at the top to understand the vision, and you go and delivers like, I don't know, a piece of paper or email, and it's like, hey, I want this player. I need you to get me this player. Just like the same thing, like, for example, like, they missed out on
Modric. Yeah.
Mudryk, and they go after Leandro Trossard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a guy like, again, he's interchangeable. They haven't really been playing the number 10 this year. I think he's injured.
Smith
Um,
Rowe.
yeah. Yeah.
I've seen him. I think he's back in practice, but I don't think he's very healthy yet to
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's Trossard is a good addition. I'm not sure yet how they're gonna use him, but I have a feeling they might use him as a force 9 if they want to start him. But if not, he could be in the wing or in the bench.
Yeah.
And give him like depth.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be a depth guy. I
Yeah.
think they need that because, again, Smith Rowe hasn't been there, so Martinelli needs to come off. I think Trossard is going to operate on that left wing, or with Eddie Nketiah. Maybe they don't really have another striker afterwards. Eddie Nketiah comes off. You put him. You put Leandro Trossard in there to play as that false 9, basically.
And I could see it because he could score,
Mhm.
and that's something that's missing also from the striker that you just mentioned. I always forget how to pronounce his name.
Nketiah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's like a different style. Like, I think Arsenal did a great jump after the little problem that Trossard had with De Zerbi.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? He's on the go. So let's grab him. We need they're gonna need scoring, and Nketiah he misses a lot.
100%.
He's young. He misses a lot. He's young. Trossard, I'm not gonna say he's a scorer, but I feel like in front of the goal, he's probably more clinical than Nketiah. But we'll see.
Yep, and that's the other thing too. I would say that is the transformation for like a major transformation point for Arsenal this year is that Saka is putting his chances. Yeah, he's putting his chances away. Like, there's evolutions to these guys' games. Like when you have wingers or left forwards, right forwards, like however you want to call them, but they're your attacking players at the end of the day. Like when you look at a guy like Vinicius and you're seeing his progression steadily, and like he's just in the cusp. He's just on the cusp of like being elite, but he needs to be able to convert his opportunities. But like today, he took his chance really well, thankfully, and he tucked it in. But there are times in the past where
he waited too long.
Exactly. His decision making, his finishing ability is not up to snuff. And for players to be great and for teams to win games, you just have to score goals. Like that's just the bottom line. Yeah. It's not like the NBA where there has to be a winner at the end of the day. Like, it's not like the NFL. Well, the NFL has draws too sometimes, but it's not like in the NBA, there has to be a winner. Like you're going to go to double overtime, triple overtime, quadruple overtime. Somebody's going to get that. Somebody's going to win the game. There's no draws here. So like, in order for you to win, you have to keep clean sheets, but more importantly, you have to be able to score goals. And a big thing for Arsenal this year is that they're tucking in chances. They're scoring goals. Martinelli has been converting. Saka has been converting. And Odegaard from the midfield position has been converting. And that's a very important aspect of why they're so successful this year.
That's some good stuff. So not sure if they have any other target at the moment, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they manage the second half of their season. They're the favorite. Everyone is talking about them. Everyone thinks they're gonna win, and it's gonna be interesting to see like the mental aspect of the second half of the season. It gets harder. One great thing for them is they're not in the Champions League, so they won't have any. They're not gonna be tired.
Exactly.
Well,
they have Europa.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see. Yeah.
I think they're gonna put their main focus on this right now.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, maybe if Tottenham was a better team, they would have had a bigger room to be more comfortable this year. But Tottenham just loves doing Tottenham things. So so they're gonna have to keep pressure on Man City, and still we're gonna see what happens. This is gonna be a very big game this weekend. So we're gonna see what happens in the table.
Tottenham is a long-term journey. They've been on that journey for. You would think they're like a team that is like, like how you're always gonna like for example like a project. They're probably the team who has like the longest project.
Yep,
and still can't figure it out.
And I think this summer, man, it's about time, man. I think this summer it's about time. It's like, dude, Kane,
you gotta go. Bro.
You gave it enough over. You gave it enough time, man. Son is 30. Like, it's like,
over.
Come on, man. Wrap it up, bro.
Wrap it up. Total reset. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the NBA. We have a great topic today. We're gonna speak about the NBA midterm grade. So we're gonna give a grade to the first top 6 teams on the East. Then we will move on to the next episode with the rest of the East, and we're gonna go to the West also in probably 2 episodes. But today it's about the NBA midterm grade for the Eastern Conference top 6 teams. Mike, whenever you're ready, we can start that.
Okay.
So there's no
particular order that you want me to go in, or
we're actually gonna do an order. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was gonna say there's no surprise that everyone knows already who's gonna be the first team we're gonna discuss, because they've been first. They've been first for what? Since the second month of second week, third week.
Yeah, I want to say
that first chokehold.
I want to say probably third week, maybe like around December 5th, maybe, if I remember correctly, because the Bucks started on like they started this season undefeated for like 8 games or something like that. Yeah, so I think the Celtics got the first seed like early December, if I remember correctly. Was it? I'm saying early December, like
probably early November.
Yeah, like mid-November-ish or late November, if I remember correctly.
If you had to give him a grade, what would be your grade?
Hey man, they're right where they're supposed to be. They're right where they're supposed to be. They've had injuries. Robert Griffin III missed a good portion of the season. Yeah, a good portion of the season so far.
And they got Jaylen Brown hurt also.
Yeah,
he's playing tonight, right?
Let me just check the box score again. But yeah, they've had injuries. And they've kept. Yes, he's back today. Playing poorly.
Yeah, he came from a more injury.
Yeah.
So
those are tough to come back from.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. There's really not much insight I could give about the Celtics. Honestly, like they've Jason Tatum playing at MVP caliber, Malcolm Brogdon, wonderful
making a case
addition.
for that 6th man of the year. Also,
100% wonderful addition to the team. Yeah, man, and they've just been playing extremely well. Their offense is probably the best offense in the league at this time, or top 5 at least. but you know, their
Yeah, they're
defense
definitely top five.
their defense probably regressed from what they used to be under Ime Udoka. But when you're scoring points like you do and as efficiently as you do right now, like, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Like, so I think my grade for the Celtics has to be an A.
I was watching the stats. According to cleaning the glass, they said
Mhm.
nearly 40% of the shots the Celtics allow are twos outside the rim. Um, so they keeping that rim tight.
These guys are working, man. These guys are working.
Yeah, they got two players arguably are in the top 10 MVP list of Tatum and Brown. Brown might be like I think Brown is the top 10 player right now in the MVP list. They did in terms like okay, now before we move on to the next teams, if you would look at the team and you say their defense is not the same they used to be under Ime,
Mm-hmm.
would you do a trade? Because before I give you that, they said that they had they won't really go after big player that's gonna ask for a lot of money. They're looking for someone maybe under 8 million, but they wouldn't mind taking a luxury tax if it's for the right trade.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at the Celtics right now, do you think they need a trade in any position? Backup center, uh, a player to take off some loads of Tatum and Brown so they can be fresh for the playoffs and not gassed, like Tatum was gassed over the summer.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. You know, they're like, again, Malcolm Brogdon is a very good addition to the team. Like, he is a starter for most teams in the NBA, and he's playing as, you know, a six man for them. So I think, you know, come playoff time, that could probably, you know, do something for them, give them a different dimension. If you know a name that's probably still out there that could potentially go back to them, I don't know if they want him back in the Celtics jersey, but I think Jay Crowder could help a team out like that. I don't think he's that expensive. Um,
Yeah, Jay Crowder's
yeah,
he's in a transfer target.
yeah. So, you know, it's I don't know if I would necessarily want to trade, like, you know, assets that I'm using right now, like a swap, or for example,
Mm-hmm.
like a Derek White, or you know, I think the place that they're really lacking obviously is a backup center, like, you know, Luke Cornett as your backup center, even though they don't really play him. I don't say like they, like, you know, come playoff time, I don't think he's really going to play as much, because, you know, the rotation is going to shorten anyways, and they play Grant Williams a lot of minutes. But I think that, you know, maybe, like, you know, just in case of injuries, and Al Horford again is not a young man. Like, I mean, he's still young, but again, in NBA, like, you know, in the NBA world, he's not a young man. You might want to go and see if you could grab another center.
They were
Uh,
after the Spurs center, but he's
uh,
asking for 20 million.
Jacob
That's the
Pertl.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they're not sure yet, but that's one of the positions. There's two positions I'm seeing: a backup center and a wing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be the
But don't be surprised if they trade a couple of their picks
yeah.
in order
That
to get those players. Because like you said, I think you're spot on. I don't think they want to use any of their important players on any swap because everyone right now in the team is important.
maybe pay him Pritchard if he wants to, you know, if he
Yeah.
really wants out, but I don't think so. Like, you know, he's a really good player. And in case something happens to maybe Marcus Smart or Malcolm Brogdon, for example, God forbid, then you have a guy that you've seen perform in the playoffs for you, at least, that could come in, that could contribute immediately. So I don't know if you want, yeah. So, you know, trading picks, you
Yeah,
know,
because
cat.
they got rid of Noah Vonleh, so
Mhm.
probably removing a couple cap space just to when that trade time comes in, and then they figure it out. Yeah. Sorry
Richie,
for cutting you.
no, you don't get cut me off. Richie, I don't even know why that guy was on the team to begin with. I don't even know why he was on the team to begin with, man. Like when he was playing early in the season, I was like, dude, like just play Blake Griffin instead. Like why, why play Noah Vonleh? Like no.
Oh man, yeah, it was kind of, I'm like, but yeah, he's not on the team anymore. I don't think he is. Yeah, they traded him. Yeah. All right, so second team on the list is the Bucks. Now the Bucks, to me, I still give him a B.
You do? Okay.
Because I feel like in terms of scoring, it makes sense that they dropped in scoring. They're 16th in scoring right now. They haven't had Chris Middleton for the longest. That's a huge scoring that you don't have. I mean, score, sorry. But the only aspect that I would demand a little bit more from them is defense. Right now, they're sitting 21st in turnovers, and their defense is not how the Bucks defense is in the playoffs in the past years. Their defense is hard to penetrate, and I feel like they're not very concentrated because they have most of the players they have. They don't have Giannis at the moment; he's hurt. But in all of this chaos, and they're still looking for players to add on for scoring, because the only really scorer that comes off the bench that you can guarantee that can give you something is Bobby Portis. I feel like that's not enough. If you're telling me your best person you're looking for in the bench to score for is Bobby Portis, you're in trouble. No disrespect to Bobby Portis. He's a very good scorer, but
yeah, like you said,
I give him a B because they're still able to get things done. They're trying to change it a little bit. Pat Connaughton, what's his last name again? Connaughton is doing better. Grayson Allen is playing better ball those past few weeks. But I think you might see a trade. They have to add a player.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's fair for you to keep them at a B. I wanted to bring them down to probably like a C plus for me, for example, even though that they had the injuries. But I just feel like they're really too inconsistent. For the points that you said. Scoring. There's a stretch like when they were kind of losing games that Giannis really had to put the team on his back. Score 40 plus points in like 3 straight games or so, to give them opportunities to win. What the frustrating thing about this team is that these guys are inconsistent. Outside of Giannis and Bobby Portis, they're really, really inconsistent in my opinion.
Yep.
Drew Holiday, as excellent as he is,
he's been inconsistent.
He's just. It's just frustrating because the thing is that if he plays at an elite level, which on the defensive side and ball distribution, he's always going to be elite. But when Giannis needs that scoring, or Chris Middleton needs that scoring, and you need those spacing and you need to create another threat, he's cold a lot of times. And I've never really seen these guys, all 3 of them, play elite at the same time on the floor together. So it's a little bit frustrating because I feel like I'm still thinking that, in my opinion, healthy, the Bucks can beat the Celtics, but the inconsistency is the thing that really scares me. They're a really good home team. I think their record is 18-5 at home. They're a 500 team on the road, which is very respectable. If you get home court advantage, that means you could take care of business at least. But yeah, man, and the addition of the guy, what's his name again? The Aussie, because he had the ACL tear. I think that's really gonna help them out.
Joe Ingles.
Yeah, Joe Ingles.
Yeah, Ingles. He's back. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's back. He's getting his reps in. He's a good shooter. He's a good ball handler, and he's a great passer. So when these guys get healthy, I really want to see what happens. But I'd absolutely look at to see if I could get a move, because guys like Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen, look, they're decent rotational pieces. They're decent rotational pieces, but when it really comes down to it, when butts get tight and defense get tight in the playoffs, when you need release and you need, these guys are going to be open to get you those 3-point shots or to make a decision with the ball, are these guys going to be it for you? And I don't know if I could consistently rely on those guys. So if you can go out there and figure out if you could get somebody else, more,
Would you give Pat Connaughton, and who would you give for maybe an asset out there? And who do you see as an asset out there?
Those two guys,
Jay Crowder?
Jay Crowder, yeah. That's the first guy I could think of. Because if you could give those two guys up, for example, Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen for Jay Crowder, I think that's an even trade. You get the defense, you get physicality, and you get the shooting. That he's gonna show up for you in all the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. He's just gonna disappear in the finals. So
just take me to the finals and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, well, when it gets to the final, Giannis.
Right, it's gonna be Giannis, and
Giannis could take us to the promised land. He's gonna show up for the first 3 rounds, and then the finals he's gonna be ghost.
MIA. Yeah, that seems like a fair trade. I'm looking at the Suns' point of view. You're looking at Grayson Allen playing the way he's playing right now. You might bite for it. You might bite.
They probably still want to pick, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
But a guy like even Serge Ibaka, for example, they were not really
using
him.
They're not using him.
So I like their roster, man. I like their roster. And you still have Wes Matthews on the team. You could probably try to give Marjon Beauchamp a little bit more rep time. I think he's a rookie that can develop into a really good rotational piece. So, if you call the Suns, see what the asking price is, man. I think a guy like that would really benefit the team.
Perfect. Let's go with the 76ers. Philly.
Now this one's tough, man. This is
this one team. I got them a B.
B? Okay.
I feel like Embiid is playing good basketball. There's nothing new about it. Embiid has always been in MVP talks. I think he's the best scorer in the league right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's him and Luka for second. I think so. I want to say so.
Is it?
But
I feel like
fact check me a little bit.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's second. Luka's one.
So Luka's one. Okay, so he's second. Okay. Yeah, Embiid has been playing well. I feel like we forget also the Sixers. They had Harden out. Embiid was out for a while. Maxey was out. You don't see there hasn't been a very good chemistry yet from 3 of those guys, and yet they still find themselves third right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And this is a team. Last month they were lower than that. So they gathered themselves up, played better basketball. Harden is playing better. He's scoring the basketball better. He's still doing what he's doing and distributing. That's why I gotta give him a B, because I looked at what you have been able to improve, and yeah, I like what they did.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I would also agree with your take and give them a B because of the points that you said. Injuries. I think what is it? TNT Wednesday crew or TNT Tuesday crew? It was Lefko, Candace Parker, and Jamal Crawford and Shaq. They said, the pick and roll with James Harden and Joel Embiid is looking really lethal now. It seems like they have it seems like they have a really good understanding. The only thing is to and Jamal also brought up the point of bringing Tyrese Maxey off the bench as an engine guy, and it's like, yo, this guy's gonna Doc is gonna tell him like, hey, whenever you come off the bench, just shoot. Doesn't matter if it's a bad shot, I don't care. Just go ahead and get buckets. The only thing I'm a little worried about is the same thing that they brought up, like Candace Parker, I think, was bringing up, or Shaq, I don't remember, was saying that when things like that happen, when James Harden doesn't really get involved as much in the scoring of the team and he's more of a distributor, they don't know how well it's going to translate into the playoffs. Yes, it's cool, having Embiid be dominant, Tyrese Maxey being excellent, and Tobias Harris giving you good buckets. But when it comes down to it in the playoffs are made, that's where the names are made. And that's why you pay, guys exorbitant amount of money in the NBA. Because when the playoffs, half court sets, half court defense is extremely difficult to get through, and you need elite level scoring to get through those, and that's why you pay James Harden $35 to $45 million a year. So, that's the thing that that's probably a little bit concerning for me for Philly, but they're a very good home team. Their road record is pretty good as well. Yeah, I'm not, and I can't really say too much bad about their roster. Their roster looks good. Their roster looks good, man. So they have the tools to be a championship caliber team. It's just the fact that, the mentality has to be there for them. They just can't go out there and be lazy and just say
show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what happened last year in the playoffs for them. They just basically gave up.
Who knocked them out? Toronto?
I think so.
Yeah. And B was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got hurt Siakam. Yeah, it's not. Mike's, I don't care. That's why I stopped. Yeah, you don't care about that. I mean, you're right. Philly has they have been very disappointed in the playoffs, so it's gonna be interesting to see him in that part of the season. So, yeah. What's your grade you give it to them?
I agreed with you, B.
Well. B? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe B minus.
You want to give him a minus, right? All right, number 4, it's the Nets. I feel like if KD was here, it would probably still be second.
Mm-hmm.
But let me get your thoughts first. What's your grade for them?
I have to go an A, man. I have to go an A.
Why?
Have to go an A. Richie, we spoke about this before, but who the hell is David Duke Jr.? Who's Kessler Edwards? Who's Day'Ron Sharp, Drew Smith, Edmund Sumner? Cam Thomas isn't even playing. TJ Warren was a great pickup for them. I think that's
TJ Warren from the stretch game I was looking at. He was playing well.
Yeah, TJ Warren's an absolute steal of a pick for the Brooklyn Nets. But their roster isn't built to be a team that's in top 2. I mean, KD is a basketball god, but it takes more than 2 people to actually win basketball games in the NBA. So, shout outs to Jack Vaughn for what he's done with this team. But I feel like their roster is kind of imbalanced. They're very top heavy, but even with being top heavy, they can actually do some things. But I feel like a lot of times under Nash, they utilize the players wrong, in my opinion. That's why Patty Mills, for example, he's a shell of himself. He's nowhere close to what he used to be in San Antonio. But they still have Ben Simmons, who's been playing better as of late. So the defense and rebounding can still be there for them, even though Nick Claxton, for example, isn't that physical of a presence in the post for defensive purposes or rebounding purposes against more dominant forces in the East Coast, like a Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo, for example. So, Ben Simmons could be there for you. You still have KD, you have Kyrie, you have Seth Curry, you have Royce O'Neal. So, these guys, there's something there. There's some tools there. But I feel like, they probably need a couple of more pieces to complement the bench, to beef up the bench a little bit more. Because I feel like, these guys they're looking a little skinny, man. I ain't gonna lie. They're looking
Said they're looking a bit more skinny.
they're looking a little skinny. Like these guys are ballers. They're winning games, but like I don't know, man. They might meet a tougher team in the playoffs, like the Boston Celtics, who again I should say they beat them last year 4-0, and right now in their division, the Boston Celtics are undefeated in their division. So that means, Brooklyn hasn't beat them yet this year. So, they might want to look at if they could possibly do something, but maybe Jack Vaughn doesn't want to mess with the chemistry of the team right now and the way they're playing, especially with KD out. You don't really want I don't know if you really want somebody to come in at this time. So I don't know. I think there was a rumor they were looking to shop Joe Harris at some point, but I regardless of like their record and how I think they're outperforming their roster right
Yeah.
now with what they have on the team, even though Ben Simmons, uh KD and Kyrie, they're well, I mean, I don't know if I want to put Ben Simmons elite level category anymore, but KD and Kyrie are elite level basketball players. Uh and that's what I mean by top heavy. I don't know if that roster should be a number 2 seed, but there they are. Like, they're number 4 right now, but like you said, if Katie was still around, they probably still be the number 2 seed. Um so yeah, I mean, I would still think about it, but I have to give it an A, man, cuz they're outperforming. They're definitely
No,
outperforming.
they are. Right now they're sitting at second in field goal percentage, 50.6, and second in 3-pointers. So they score in the basket, but like I agree with you, they can add a little bit size. I think maybe they might look around for Joe Harris or even Seth. They might even shop Seth.
Mhm.
To see what's out there they can add. Um, yeah, man, they're doing better. Like when they changed the coach, one of the major thing KD said is, now you feel like there's more sets being called, there's more like plays, and
Mhm.
everyone kind of understands what their role is, what to do, and then you can see that on the court. Like you always mentioned, there's one thing it's gonna be interesting to see in the playoffs. Can they play playoff basketball? Like, can they
Yeah.
play half court basketball? And you feel like you mentioned, like most of them being threats, it's like transition or 1-on-1, because you
Mhm.
got two 1-on-1 players right now, like they can do whatever they want, especially in December. You could have not touched these guys. Kyrie and Katie was just balling out of their mind. They're slowing down a little bit because one of their best scorers is not here. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see them on the playoffs. And do you have any names on that you think they could use,
I was
or
thinking about
are we gonna use Jay Crowder again?
no, not Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like looking at towards like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys come with huge asking prices, like guys like Vooch,
Mm,
DeMar DeRozan or Zach Levine, for example. Um, yeah, because I think like I mean I don't know, it would be like a decision from the Bulls brass to see who they want to keep. Obviously, you would want to go with the younger guy and get rid of DeMar,
yeah.
and keep Zach in town. But I mean, if you could get like I don't know a swap, let's say Joe Harris, Seth, I don't know, maybe a Morris, the Morris twin that they're not using, or Patty Mills. I don't know if they want to get rid of Patty Mills, if they get rid of Seth, maybe Patty Mills moves up the
Yeah.
rotation, for example, and a draft pick or so and cash considerations for DeMar. DeMar's definitely an all-star, but if it does definitely seems like the experiment isn't working, maybe you need to like spread the ball a little bit more with Lonzo coming back, and you have a team with like, Lonzo, Joe Harris, um, Zach, Vooch, and Patrick Williams. Maybe now the team is a little bit more balanced. You have, a combination of like good ball handlers, good shooters, elite level scoring, and a post presence that you dump the ball back. You could probably play more inside out now, where Vooch really almost exclusively all the time operates on the outside. So I don't know. Like, I think there's probably something there. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's where I thought I would possibly look at.
Mhm.
Because I feel like the trade off would be almost uh even like to more to the favor of Brooklyn, honestly, because I think outside of the 3-point shooting threat that maybe that's the only thing that they'd probably be put off at. Like they're like, DeMar doesn't like shooting 3-pointers, so why would we
Yeah.
take him over Joe Harris? But I don't know. I think there's something there. I think there's something there. But that's what I would look at. And the other thing would be possibly looking at to beef up the front court a little bit. They had DeAndre Jordan on the team before. They didn't really use him as much. Well, he's in Denver now anyways, but uh you know,
He had Drummond, but didn't use him much also during
yeah.
the playoffs.
Yeah, now he's in Chicago. I mean, they like Claxton. Claxton is
He's
okay.
leading
Like,
on the blocks, right?
yeah, he's okay. Like it's just like his free throw percentage is horrendous. Like he cannot shoot free throws. Uh and he's a liability, I feel like sometimes. Again,
Yeah.
if you're playing against stronger post presence players, like Joel Embiid is cooking him alive. I don't care like what this
Nah,
kid
yeah, you
does,
can't. Yeah.
you know.
He couldn't even handle Steven Adams at one point.
Yeah.
There was a Memphis game. But he has done better. But like you said, those are situations that you would
Yeah.
want to buff up your front court for sure.
Yeah. So you
Um,
probably look at, Miles Turner. Like it seems like Lakers are really not intent on doing anything. Maybe you pick up the phone and see how, what's the
what's the
asking
asking
price?
price, bro?
What's the asking price for Miles Turner?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one. The
Mhm.
fifth, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Uh,
Cavaliers.
can you tell me where they finished last year? I don't remember. Was it the top
Playing
four
tournament.
again?
They were top, but they were suffering with a lot of injuries.
Injuries,
They
right?
had they I'm not sure exactly the position right now, but they played against the Nets in the playing tournament and they lost.
Oh,
So
they played.
they might have finished 8th, 9th, or 10th.
Okay. All
It
right.
has to be one of these.
Excuse me.
Ricky
So,
Rubio's back.
yes, he is. Yes, he is. I want to say B plus. I want to say B plus for Cleveland. They started off the season really, really hot. Nobody really expected them to be as as good as they were. But I feel like, they're a little bit of a like I had put a tweet out, I think a couple years back. I'm saying a couple years, couple weeks back, like at the beginning of the new year, talking about like now we're getting, at the midway point of the NBA season, pretty much like who are the pretenders that are, in the playoff picture. And I was kind of thinking like, Cleveland might be a little pretendish, honestly. Like Cleveland, Philly, those two teams, I think they're a little bit pretendish. Sacramento, for example, I think
Mhm.
they're teams that they're pretenders. Like, they're good like during the regular season, but when it comes to playoff time and teams that have playoff experience are going to put those teams through the ringer. The only difference is that I think JB Bickerstaff is a very good coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. And they have good veteran presence in Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love, for example. So, that's good for them. I like the roster. Um, Obviously Donovan Mitchell has been a great addition. It doesn't seem like Utah lost much, honestly, in that trade-off because
Nope.
Laurie Markkanen is just balling at an all-star level right now.
Should be an
Um,
all-star.
yeah, I think he should be. He's definitely going to be a reserve. If he's not, then something's wrong. He's definitely going to be a reserve. Has to be. Uh, you know, Decent squad, but Are they outperforming Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, Jared Allen? You know, 3 All-Stars. I don't think so. I think they're right where they should be. So that's for those reasons, I'm gonna say that's a B. That I'm expecting you to be a playoff team. I'm expecting you to be at least a top 4 seed. So if you have 3 All-Stars on your team, you better be a top 4 team. Like, so yeah, I have to go like a B plus. I'd say B plus.
I gave him a B.
Mm-hmm.
But just to refer on that part, they have the name of Bohan Bogdanovic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's saying that they have many second round picks to offer, but it might not be enough because there's probably better teams that have better players to give out right now, unless they're not, because I think Karis LeVert is in an expiring contract right now.
Okay. Is it the one from is that the one from
Detroit?
Okay. All right.
Right?
Not the one from
Atlanta?
Atlanta. Yeah.
Nah,
Okay.
Bohan is from he's from Detroit, and then
Okay.
a lot of teams are after him right now, and the Nets are one of the contenders. That not the Nets. Sorry, the Cleveland are one of the teams that's looking at, but they might not have enough to have them. So
Okay.
there
And
are
he
some trade scenarios with Karis LeVert, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
and he's played with Donovan Mitchell before, so I feel like that's I think
True in the
there's
Jazz.
yeah, I think there's something there. So that'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
All right. Let's move on to the last one.
Mm-hmm.
If we did that episode yesterday, it would have been the Knicks. But unfortunately, it's the Miami Heat. But it is Miami Heat, so they're actually doing better.
Yes, as of late, yes.
Yes, they are. They're playing better. A couple players are playing better as well. And in the last 19 games, they won 13 games. I mean, in the last 19 games, they won 13. They had 13 wins. What's to me, I'll give him a B minus. But what's your grade for them?
Uh, I wouldn't go as high for them. I'd say C for them. They've come back into the full playoff picture right now without going into a playing scenario.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, they're 25-21. They've had some players in and out of the lineup, but I think this is one of those teams that, like, for the trade rumors that are happening, I think you're absolutely correct. This is a team that can use a trade. This is a team that I think they should get rid of Kyle Lowry, for example.
That's exactly why I give him B minus, because I feel like this
Mm.
team has not improved in terms of roster. To see them trying to get back, especially during those times are the most difficult times to stay concentrated and stuff like that. So that's why I'm giving a B minus. But I'm not mad if there's a C plus involved as well.
Yeah, because my thing is that I think this team has championship aspirations and what they set out to do.
Yeah.
They paid Tyler Hero an exorbitant amount of money, moved him into the starting lineup. He's performing extremely well. Jimmy Butler's been a little bit inconsistent, but he's still that guy, in my opinion. Bam Adebayo, still that guy. Yeah, but I think it's time the Kyle Lowry experiment ends. Just get rid of him. He's not working out for you. Duncan Robinson has been.
He's the one I think is in the trade rumors.
So yeah, I think he's getting paid way too much money to be mediocre. So I mean I think he's injured, right? Is he injured?
Who?
Duncan Robinson. I don't remember the last time he played. But I just don't think Kyle Lowry moves the needle for those guys. Like, he's a great veteran. He's a really good point guard. I just don't think, like, with this Miami squad, for example, I just don't think he's gonna make it happen for them. Like, when it comes down to it, anymore. He's 36 years old, so I think if you could get something for him and package another player, if you could get some type of other scoring threat. I know our good buddy Sebastian has, been wanting a scoring a scoring guard on his team for a while now.
There's
I
many
don't
options out there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get it in Chicago. I don't think there's any assets that Miami could offer Chicago right now for either Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, for example. But Buddy Hield, I don't know if he'd be excited about that. You know, Trey Young is rumored to be, in some trade talks in Atlanta. Not many people know what's really going on in Atlanta right now. So, I mean, we could see what happens with them, but I have to go with C because they have championship aspirations. They were there in the finals last year, in the conference finals last year with the Celtics.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's coached by Eric Spoelstra, so they're well coached. They have great culture, but it's just I think sometimes, like you said, yes, they overperform. Like they haven't really improved the roster. They actually lost one of their key pieces, so it would be fair to give them a B. But I just feel like how they started the season. Yes, they've been playing better as of late, but overall, like if I'm grading them, at the midterm, like overall, I have to give them a C.
No, it's fair. It's fair. What I would say in my end, from what I've read in the Miami Herald, the Miami Heat likes to play a stretch four alongside Bam Adebayo, and one of the names since the summer they have always been
Kristaps
talking about him.
Porzingis.
Nah, not even him. I don't think even he's trying to go back to New York for some reason. I don't know why, but it's Collins. Collins is the name that the Heat has been talking a lot lately, but it's a good thing for them that they did not move for him over the summer because I feel like his trade value is going down. Because
Who was it?
Collins from the Hawks.
Okay.
I feel like it's the best thing that happened to the Heat that did not move for him over the summer because they probably might have given more assets. But now you're looking at Collins, you're like, okay, his trade assets is actually going a little bit lower.
His value.
And I feel like his value is going a little bit lower. I feel like the Hawks was like, okay. When they were saying no, they're like, okay, I'm listening now right now. Listen about that. Like he's scoring 24.4 in the 3-point percentage right now. If you're gonna play the stretch floor with the Heat, you gotta be able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he can turn that around. Maybe he wants to move to a different situation and get his mind clear and then play basketball. But the Heat looking at it like that right now, I'd be like, oh, listen, what you've been yesterday's price,
it's not today's price, buddy.
Not today's price, buddy. So what's up? Like
now, if you were Atlanta, who would you want in that trade package if you're giving Collins away? Do you just do it for an expiring deal and a pick?
Yeah, because they've been trying to move him. They don't really. It's clear that they don't need him. If you want to move that money away,
because since they got Clint, I'm not gonna lie, I have not understood how to use them. Like, there's this thing that I was thinking about like a few weeks ago of like certain bigs that are just not being utilized correctly in the NBA. I forgot what the list that I came up with. Well, DeAndre Ayton was definitely in there, even though he's like scoring better now in Phoenix. But I just don't feel like they're really utilizing him as they should. And Zach Collins, and he's in. I'm saying Zach Collins.
John Collins,
yes.
Yeah.
Zach Collins is a white boy.
Yeah.
John Collins is definitely in there as well because I just don't think he's being utilized correctly. As I don't think his numbers being called as much, and it's just a roster thing. Like if the ball's gonna be in Trey and DeJounte Murray's hand a little bit more, and if Clint Capella is going to be your main screener a lot of times, then you're just going to be left to when you get the ball, and when you get those open shots, you have to knock down your open shots. And maybe like he feels like that's why it's probably his 3-point percentage is so low. Maybe he feels like, I think that I'm a stud. I'm all-star caliber player, and there's no calls being made for me, and I have to be content with getting the ball when I'm
Whenever
told
they
to
give
get.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you get fed when we tell you, buddy. Like, you stay your
Oh,
ass. You stay your ass in that corner, and you wait for us to wait for us to feed you. Like, so I don't know. Like that might be his problem, his issue. But I like him. I like him as a player.
he was the first player as a power forward they named. Then after that, moving to the like November, they were mentioning Julius Randle.
Mhm.
But now I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. I don't think the Knicks are gonna look to trade Julius Randle right now. Another two names I'm seeing as well is Jay Crowder coming back to the Heat and Bohan Bogdanovic. And I was thinking about Fred VanVleet for them as a point guard. But who do you trade him for? They're not taking Callaway back. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. So it's because Fred VanVleet, he's on the move. A lot of teams are looking at him, and he's been playing very good basketball. He's very shaky on defense, but that man was balling in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Collins, I don't know, man. Like, his asking price is gonna be lower. I think he's still a good fit for the Heat. It just depends on what they're gonna do with the deals. They could include Oladipo in those deals as well.
Possibly.
For some cash.
Possibly. I mean, I wouldn't, but
Yeah.
if you get rid of Powell and Oladipo for Fred,
no, not for Fred. For Collins.
For Collins,
yeah.
I don't know.
Depending on what they're asking.
Move Tyler to full-time point guard. Gabe Vincent the backup. Maybe.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was the last team that we're gonna speak for today. Next episode we will resume with the. Do we do the bottom teams?
No. No.
So we go straight to the West.
Yeah. I'm not interested in playing teams. Like, even though the Warriors are a playing team right now, it's like, dude, I'm not in. Like,
you're not interested in.
Get better.
Get better. We don't have time for that.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the last teams. We're gonna move to the next episode for top 6 in the Western Conference, and we're gonna have a later grade and possible trade scenarios. We're gonna move to the last segment of the day. What's up with that? We haven't done that in a while. I got three things for you, Mike, but today we're gonna have to do the 30 seconds.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, I can start.
Okay.
I know you're gonna like the first one, Arsenal menu preview, and no Casemiro. What's your reaction on that game?
Like Ten Hag said, we beat Arsenal without Casemiro, but I mean his reaction when Casemiro got the yellow card says a little bit differently. I'm really scared. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really scared. And he's kind of changing the tactics a little bit, playing Weghorst and Rashford a little bit more to the left instead of the middle. So I'm kind of scared, but hopefully we get the W. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 victory for Manchester United.
Spot on. And that game is on Sunday at 11:30 Eastern time, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck with that. Second game, the battle of the struggle of the battles, if that makes sense. The battle of the struggles of the battles. I'm talking about Liverpool and Chelsea. It's a battle of the struggles. Who do you think needs the W more, Chelsea or Liverpool?
I think Chelsea. Liverpool just won in the FA or Carabao Cup. I think Chelsea just they've just been spending so much money. Like it's just ridiculous. I don't think a draw does anything for them. They had a really good win against Crystal Palace. I think Chelsea is the team that needs to win more than Liverpool.
All right. That's the early game on Saturday, 7:30 Eastern time. So, yeah.
I wonder who they're going to field for that game.
For Chelsea?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Richie. I would just want to boot up FIFA right now and just put all these players in Chelsea to go play with them. Like, because I'm like, yo, man, this gotta be the most stacked roster of all time. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna have. I think they're gonna just go to remodel. Like certain players are not gonna be here
for sure. For sure,
they're gonna add more players. Maybe they're doing it right now, and then like not to have to worry about the summer battling about with other teams. They'd be like, listen, I have the money right now. You coming or not? You turn Madrid is not going to no Arsenal. They have the money right now. They have the checks. The checkbook is ready. It ain't no bouncing. Check's not gonna bounce. So I think it makes sense if you can go after certain players right now and having to not go any war over the summer. Even though I know they have more money, they still would have beat any teams. But I think they're just getting them right now. Like, get on board. All right, last one for the day. What do you think about what happened in between Ancelotti and Rodrigo? He substitute Rodrigo. Rodrigo goes straight to the bench. Doesn't greet him or anything. He said to Rodrigo, "Tú a mí me saludas." You have to greet me. And he had like What do you think about that?
He's 100% correct, man. That's the Godfather. Don't disrespect the Godfather, man. You get your opportunities because of this guy. Like, do not disrespect the Godfather, man. Like, yes, you've done a lot of great things for Real Madrid, but please do not disrespect the guy. Did I agree with Rodrigo coming off? No, not necessarily so, but it seems like Asensio was definitely the better decision to make. But 100% I agree with Ancelotti. Doesn't matter if you're upset. You greet him, and then after that, if you got to talk, you talk after that. That's it, man.
But he said there's no problem in the press conference. There's no problem with him or Rodrigo. He just mentioned to him, "Yo,
it's like you're young, you youngin. Don't do that again."
There's no Tite.
I'm not gonna be doing little peacock dance with you,
nah. when you say, "Yo," when I substitute you say something, you greet me. But yeah, I don't think there's nothing there. It was just funny when he was doing the little handshake. He's like, "Hey man, hey, I'm not the one." All right, episode 46. Welcome back to 2023. Thank you for everyone that's always been listening to the show. Like, subscribe, and like I said, you can always greet us and talk to us on Twitter. I'll put the Twitter handles. Mike, you have anything to add on to the fans?
No, man. Good to be back. We missed a lot. We definitely missed talking about a few topics that were spicy. But it is what it is.
There's gonna be more spice.
Yeah, shout outs to Ronaldo for retiring in style. I guess $200 million or whatever he's getting. But no, good to be back. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Please keep supporting the show, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yes, sir. And just to let you know, he scored twice today. Your goal. They were playing against PSG. It was nice to see them like all these players together one last time. So Ronaldo greeting Messi, 2 goats. It's very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I think that the game ending 4-3. Messi scored 1.
5-4, right? No, 5-4, right?
5-4 or something like that. I lost track of the goals at some point. But yeah, thank you for everyone that's been tuned in. And yeah, we're back. Peace.